I'm seeing three. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today we're back with the figure reviews. Today we're taking a brand new look, I should clarify, at not one, not two, but three Godzilla minifigures. Yes, we're taking a look at these three bozos. You older channel viewers might remember these guys from years back, but today we're taking a much more authentic HD remastered look at these guys with Godzilla 2004, Kiryu, and Godzilla 2017, specifically Phileas, because he does not have the beard while Earth does. Which is kind of funny because to my knowledge, there's more figures of Phileas than there are of Earth, even though Phileas wasn't even the main star of the anime trilogy. Anyway, so yeah, basically, just for a little bit of background, these are part of the Bandai Shokugan line, which I finally am able to pronounce correctly. It's not Shokugan, that's a different thing. Shokugan. And these were also released as part of the 65th anniversary wave that Bandai did, where they brought in a bunch of Japanese imports. And basically, a little funny story is, at least from what I remember, is that Bandai, because toy markets were kind of like dying out, they had a little bit of an idea to package these guys with a candy item. And for the North American market, they took out the candy and sold it as a toy item. So essentially what we're reviewing here are technically, so to speak, candy items, even though I don't have the candy items to be specific. I'm trying to wonder, did these ones come with the candy? I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. These are basically just three minifigures we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's go ahead and take a look on. The first one we're going to be taking a look is the oldest one I have, the 2004 Godzilla from Godzilla Final Wars. This is going to be pretty much a pretty accurate mold, all things considered. For the face, instead of the fiery red eyes that Final Wars is known for having, here he actually takes a much more, I want to say, Kiryu-esque type appearance, where he actually has the yellow in his eyes as opposed to those more like fiery eyes. And as you can see, there he does actually have some pretty cool detail, of which let's try to like ramp up the quality here because I know that camera's not focusing on that. There you go. So yeah, for the actual like face here, kind of looks a little goofy. If you look at it just right, it almost looks like he has yellow pupils as opposed to black. For the detail work, it's actually pretty decent for a figure of this size. The detail doesn't really skip out. I'm pleasantly surprised by it. The nostrils, take it or leave it. They're little tiny little beady things. As for the the teeth, they're individually painted. Not too much scuffed on mine, surprisingly, because I've had this thing for a few years, and this was part of like my era where I wasn't really like treating my frick. Now I gotta readjust. Damn it. All right, there we go. That should be good. Anyways, yeah. So this was like during my era where I was not treating my figures well with that much respect. So surprisingly, there's not much scuffs. The tongue, however, has been scuffed a little bit towards the back and the left side of the front. But it does have that retained red paint job. Does look pretty well. For the head paint, that's pretty much it, where everything else is going to be pretty well detailed. I'm sorry, this thing just brings back so many memories because for those that actually don't know, I bring this guy to every Godzilla movie I've seen in theaters. I did it with Shin Godzilla in 2016. I did it with King of the Monsters in 2019 versus Kong with my home premiere because sadly I was not able to go see it in a theater. I did it for -1, The New Empire, and Shin Godzilla's 4K re-release. So this guy's been with me through it all. So yeah, I've had a lot of adventures with this dude. Don't know why this guy in particular, but I guess it was the only one that could fit in my pocket comfortably. But yeah, back to the figure at hand. We have a bit of well-folded details with the segmenting at the neck. Looks pretty well done. For the back of the neck, I mean, we'll talk about like the sides with the more rectangular oval-like scales. For the back here, which we'll talk about the dorsal plates They're, of course, going to be made of soft vinyl. Mine are going to be a bit chipped, but for the core paint job, it's going to be that white. This was when Bandai, I think they even still do that on that little crappy action figure they released not too long ago. They always have this weird obsession with spraying Final Wars Goji's spines like this. I don't know why they do this, because like Final Wars Godzilla's spines don't really look like this, but I guess it's meant to look like it's illuminated, but at least do it blue. But we do have some nice, actually like decent dorsal plates here. It does that weird thing where like kind of like folds out. I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. But yeah, this whole plate is actually like, you can actually take it off. I've taken it off a few times, which might have actually contributed to its scuffing. We'll actually take it off in a bit. But as for the rest of the folds and the detail, again, it looks pretty uniform. We got the pecs, which actually look pretty well done. Moving the arms out to the side where we can get a lot more of that really nice, awesome detail with the muscular density here, which, yeah, it does have a very small arms, but Final Wars Goji is actually pretty well, like, overall done. You got the 4 clawed fingers, sadly not painted this go around. I understand why, but if you can paint this, why can't you paint these? Kind of wish they were painted. If I remember correctly, this is also a older release of the figure. I want to say like, well, if it says copyright 24, sorry, hold on. See the copyright. Yeah, it's copyright 2004 Toho. At least that's what it says. I think that's what, yeah, 2004. Okay. So yeah, we got a lot more of the nice folded details, more towards on the much more slender like legs. This was actually how you do an athletic Godzilla. Looking at you, Evolved. Should be worth noting that the hands do kind of like miss out on the detail work, so it does look like he kind of just dipped his hand into a bunch of tar. But the feet do retain some actually pretty nice detail quality, as you can see. Sadly, again, no claw paint here. I felt like this would have been like a really nice place to actually have it, but again, because of the figure of size, I kind of understand. Of course, we get the white illuminating. And then here, more towards the top, I guess, we do get a bit more like that white. And then sadly, it does kind of like pull Bandai and kind of cut midway. But we do have actually a decent pose going on with it. It doesn't just stick out, it actually like rears up and then bends to one side, giving it more of like a very dynamic pose, when the rest of the body is just more like basic. Also, as I'll talk about, crap ton of fuzz. I have like 3 cats. What do you expect? We have a bicep swivel here and here. So spin that around. For the legs, we can go at full 360 degrees. Best part is it's made of a soft vinyl, and because there's no paint on the arms or legs, you won't have to risk paint chippage. And of course, here we have a full 360 degree spin with the tail. And as I promised, let's take this off because, well, I know you guys are probably dying to know what it looks like on the inside, and that's what it looks like. I actually once like disassembled the whole figure. I remember, oh boy, what a painful day for a Goji that must have been. Anyways, let's kind of like sandwich this all in place again. If I remember correctly, this was actually kind of a pain to do, because, well, this figure sometimes never really agreed with me. Although, given of how old the figure is, like in retrospect, shouldn't be that hard to do. Well, I'll be right back. So I'm back. Final Wars Goji is fully assembled and complete. And yeah, that's basically Final Wars Goji. He's very small, very squishy, very malleable, and that's basically what the theme is going to be going forward with this trio of figures. I don't own all of them, and I probably never will unless I find like a stupid crazy lot. There's a really cool lot I saw one day. Really wishing I picked that up. Anyway, so yeah, pretty good Godzilla. We'll do our rankings at the end. Boopity beep boop boop. The next one is Start Digging in Your Grave, Twin. Or whatever that one robot SpongeBob meme is. Kiryu, which, if you guys don't know, Kiryu is one of the MechaGodzillas, but was actually created from the bones of the original 1954 Godzilla after he was killed. I know, very morbid, very creepy. But yeah, as far as detail goes, he's probably the most complex. For the face, we actually do have a pretty decent detailing. The teeth are pretty, like jumbled up in there. You can kind of see them, not really. There's like a little opening here, but that doesn't really go in that far, as you can see. The eyes are painted the standard yellow, and then we have like the spikes going down the back, and then back down on the neck. For the kind of like the sides, we do have the red bits and then the black bits here, just to give it like some extra attention of detail. And of course, the neck segmenting as well. As for the colorization, I don't really mind it. I kind of would have liked something a bit more metallic personally. But as for like the back neck of the detail, we have obviously the big like guns here, which if you don't know, is basically just like MechaGodzilla's backpack of sorts to give him like extra machinery, which also like detach from him in the film. Which, if you're wondering, no, they don't detach here. I mean, it's kind of to be expected. But of course, for the detail, they are pretty much flat. I mean, that makes sense because in the film they weren't really the most detailed. They were going to be on screen for a few minutes, and then they were just going to be an afterthought. Anyway, so yeah, we have the kind of like the gun barrels being a much more metallic silver. I almost kind of wish that this was the colorization of the whole figure, in a sense. Of course, we also have it back here, as well as the blue kind of like jutting out all over the place. It's not painted all the way, as you can see. No blue on this side or this side. And we also get some of that here with the knives. Yeah, MechaGodzilla over here thinking he's Wolverine. Pretty cool, right? But yeah, aside from that, everything else is going to be one-note color. So might as well take a look at the detail here. Absolute Zero Cannon's got a little bit of a blue speckle, but that's more of an issue here. Doesn't open. We have a lot more segmenting, a lot more of like the dorsal plates here. Again, does that weird thing where it like splits off. I wonder if that's because like when you go to twist it, that it might collide in with itself. I don't know. That's my only guess why Bandai does it. They've been doing this on figures for literally years, so I don't know. The arms, we have a nice amount of segmenting. Claws are razor sharp. Not really. They're pointy, yes, but they're not like overly sharp. For this one, again, pretty decently as far as like the actual pointiness of it, but it's not like overly sharp. But again, just to give you guys a better look at the shoulders here, just gonna kind of run that through. You get a ton of line work here. Of course, you get like this little segment here, which I know is kind of like meant to help MechaGodzilla with his flexibility. And of course, here you have MechaGodzilla's big meaty thighs, which is kind of weird to think that a MechaGodzilla, maybe not. I was about to say that a MechaGodzilla has bigger thighs than a Godzilla here, but not really. In fact, 2004 actually has bigger legs than MechaGodzilla. How am I just now realizing this? I've had these figures for years. But yeah, big thighs. I kind of wish like these little arrows were painted. I mean, they've painted this, so you can't paint that. Also, if you notice that a lot of what is supposed to be black from the film design, like these little pipes, aren't painted at all. But I guess that's to be expected. But whatever. Going back to the legs here, it looks very cybernetic. Of course, that's what it's supposed to be. Very big feet here, a little bit of shins, and actually some detail work at the bottom of the feet, which is pretty cool. More copyright info here. So this one was made, I'm pretty sure that's not actually, is that actually from 2002? I'm going to be honest, I have no clue. Because I don't really pay attention to copyright info that much. But we do have a lot of nice segmenting here for the tail, as well as all those little spikes here. They look really nice, very neat, and very awesome. But for the tail itself, it's very beady. Sculpt-wise, it actually does have a lot of nice detailing, but paint-wise, there's not a whole lot going on with it. I mean, unless you want to count the whole, like, metallic finish to it being like paint, because I think it could be paint. I don't know. But yeah, that is basically about the whole coverage for the sculpt and paint, just to give you guys one final look at everywhere. I mean, you do get that little stamp 409 97932. Wouldn't be surprised if those are coordinates or something. I know there's not what it's intended for, but hey, it could be. So for articulation, for the head, yeah, a head joint on one of these guys. The MechaGodzilla does have the ability to turn the head, but can't really go much like beyond this. Oh, actually, let's see. Kind of can. Hey, we can do a 360. I think this is my first time doing a 360 with the MechaGodzilla head. Watches, I go back to my older reviews and I do a 360. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched them. Anyways, for the shoulders, we can go comfortably back and forth, but because of the kind of like shoulders, can't really do a full 360. I'm actually trying to push it. No, there's no way you can do a 360 without it popping off. Same with this one. So you can go back and forth like that. For the waist, which yes, there is a waist joint, we can go full 360. So ironically enough, good use of the character, you know, rotating at the waist, but the wrong incarnation of the character. Legs, knees, absolutely nothing. Unlike the bootleg vinyl that I have, actually, trying to look at it, right there, he's behind the MechaGodzilla. I have, he's actually like bends like right here. There's a cut right there at the knee. But for the tail, we can go a full 360 just like that. So for the mini MechaGodzilla, 2003, I believe. Again, it's been a while since I've watched the movie. No, it would be 2002. I'm an idiot. It's right there. MechaGodzilla 2002. I would say that this is actually very cool for what it is, but personally, it has the most problems. I definitely think that the color choice was a bit of an iffy one, because, I mean, I do like this color, but to me, I would have liked something more like this than something like this. Also, a bit more black, like at least more on the segmenting. Like, please, I mean, if you painted the shoulders like this and this, like, I don't see why you couldn't have done the black, but say la vie, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Do you guys hear that? What could that sound be? It's the 318 meter tall Goliath. Not really. It's Godzilla Phileas. Yeah, the 318 meter tall Goliath is not that guy, but we're going to pretend he's the 2017 Godzilla Earth. If you're wondering what that figure is, for those that don't know, that is the Playmates Titan Godzilla, which I'm excited to announce that I didn't order him yet, but I am eyeing the Titan Kong. I have the money for him, and, you know, we'll see where we go. Anyway, that said, we have the facial features here, which for the actual mold, Bandai's always kind of used this design on every scale, like including the Monster King I have, which is literally just this guy just with the tail like jolted upward just to fit inside the box, which is really, really freaking annoying. But for the eyes, we actually have like solid blue eyes, which are pretty cool. And as well as like you have a glossy finish, like all that shine, and it just looks so, again, like glitter, like infused into the vinyl. I can tell it's infused because I've had this thing for like who knows how many years, and not once has it shedded glitter on me, which, thank you. You did this with the Fusion series, which, by the way, can we get some more translucent figures with glitter in them, please? This, well, actually, I think there's a variant of the 6-inch one that actually has that, which is entirely ice blue. That would literally be like the centerpiece to my 6-inch collection. Not the centerpiece of the whole collection, that's him and My Later Kong. Anyway. So we have all like the muscle fibers going down the neck. It's just so incredible. The mouth is slightly open, not too much. Kind of can see that. I'm gonna stop shaking. There we go. I'm kind of like swinging my legs just a little bit because I'm a bit pumped right now for this guy. For the actual like shoulders, he had a bit of a spray. It's not too bad here. It does look a little weird because it's just kind of there, and then you get back to like the glitter part. And then for the nails, mwah, Look at those nails. Those really remind me of the MechaGodzilla 2019 V2. Basically what I mean by that is it had like an indigo paint job. This also has the indigo paint job. Like very almost purple-esque, just glossy nails. Like he really went into town and got his nails done. And you can just see all the glitter just poking through, and again, just all the detail work. It's just magnificent. And of course, you do get the dorsal plates, which are a bit more thicker than that of the 2004 Goji. I mean, that makes sense given the design. But they do look like trees, don't they? I mean, it makes sense because this Godzilla is technically, so to speak, a plant. Sorry, I don't know why I struggled with that. Anyways, going down to the big meaty tree bark. It's not really meat, it's plants. So I guess there would be a vegan Godzilla anyway. Yeah, we have just this big splotch of spray here kind of going down, and then we get all the glitter and all the like almost again bioluminescent-y. I gotta stop that. Looking a little bit like with the glitter, we're going down, and then you get to the nails, which again, you're gonna do it again, just like that. Copyright trademark Toho Company Limited. I was about to say Toho Limited. Toho, yeah, the new competitor. I'm founding a new company. We're gonna name this. We're gonna name it Zodzilla. Make a movie called that, and my movie studio will be called Koho To Limited. There you go. No copyright infringement there. Made in China. And of course, you get more of that glitter there and there, whatever that means. And then, of course, you get this decently long tail. It's not a super long tail, but proportionally it is just right. It kind of goes down and then straightens out once it gets to the actual like floor. So for articulation, nothing at the head, but you do get a full 360 with the arms, full 360 with the legs, and no movement with the tail, believe it or not. I have actually tried to break the glue seal on this thing before, but trust me, this thing does not want to move no matter how hard I twist it, and I'm worried that if I break it, then So you might be expecting me to do a size comparison with all three of these guys, but I'm not going to. Why? Because screw you, you don't deserve a size comparison, nor do you deserve to know how big these things are. Just kidding! Here they are with the 6-inch variety, the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2002, and the Playmates Toys Titan Tech Monsterverse Godzilla, which, as you can tell, they are absolutely, like, in their own unique scale. So this is, like, 3.5 inch, assuming, like, the 6-inch divided in half is about 3. That'd be, like, 0.5 to where maybe this guy's about the 3-inch, because Bilious is technically, so to speak, the smallest. Something I almost wish I had was the big deluxe Kiryu that Bandai made a long time ago. I don't know if they're still making it, probably not, because I have not seen that thing in circulation recently outside of the secondhand market. But what I mean by that is I have the giant 2004 from the Monster King line and the giant Bilious from the Monster King line as well. So my hope for the future one day is to have that Kiryu as well as those two all together with these three, and I can create like an awesome photo op. But sadly, those are just dreams, and maybe one day I could own it, but right as of now, maybe one day someone locally is trying to get rid of their collection and I can snag that up. And so overall, what do I think of these three boyos? Hold on, we forgot one magical astro, whatever. I was about to turn on the light, but then I realized my computer's over there, so I can't really power that, whatever. Anyways, what do I think of this trio? I personally think that these figures, I feel like were really cool. Just the whole gimmick and idea of them being smaller versions of vinyls that are so common these days, even though I can't get one for crap anymore. They're fun. Honestly, they're fun little compact Godzillas that you can realistically bring wherever you go. I mean, I know from experience. That said, if I had to personally rank them, because they are sold separately, I would personally put my least favorite being Kiryu, midsection Godzilla 2004, and my personal favorite being Phileas. Reason why I like Phileas is just because of that glitter. Like, color me biased, I don't really care. Because, I mean, this is my own formulated opinion. It's a review, I'm critiquing him. I just love Phileas, okay? As per, like, my thoughts on all of them, let's recap. 2004, I think, is a serviceable Godzilla. You know, he's pretty basic. He does a lot of things right. I think that some claw paint would have been some nice addition, and I wish the whole, like, section of the dorsal plates were painted, but at that point, it's just stereotypical for Bandai. So, he's pretty much just average. The Phileas, pretty much no complaints. I can understand why they didn't feature a head swivel because of how small his head is in retrospect to his body. And I would also say that as far as like playability, he just feels the most fun to like actually hold and articulate and such. So I personally think that he's just the most fun to as well play around with, and he's just generally my favorite. Actually, we'll save the scores for last. And as for Kiryu, I think his articulation in some parts, like the head and waist, are pretty ambitious for these type of figures. But the lack thereof paint just really hurts this guy, and it just doesn't look that great to me in retrospect. So if I had to personally rank them, I would rate Godzilla 2004 a 7.5? 7? I'll say 7.5. Phileas 8, and Kiryu 6. So with that said, actually 6.5, there you go. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.